But we don't show prep, so so he had no idea.
I just barely make it in.
I'm sure you can tell, but we don't show.
I mean, let's put the cards down on the table here.
Miami Hurricanes, yeah. You know the name already. It's Mercy. Ha ha. It's a 6-Rig Kane show. Can't forget the name though. Got Jazz, Blue, Vision, DJ, break the game code. Ain't no changing them, ain't no breaking them. Real put alive from the Hard Rock Stadium. Ball 14 for the orange and green. We see the 6-Rig champs. It's more than a dream. This is life on the field. Beyond 100 yards, a hurricane that's never still put a damage to your squad. The 6-Rig Kane show. The 6-Rig Kane show. The 6 Rings Kane show. You know.
What's wrong with us? Seriously.
What's wrong with us? We're Miami Hurricanes fans.
Welcome to the 6 Rings Kane Show, a show dedicated to Miami Hurricane sports, featuring the legendary Larry Bluestein, Jazz Santana, Vish, and Danny Gillette. Let's go Canes.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. Good evening, gentlemen. How you guys doing?
Good evening, Jazz.
Good.
Well, I mean, someone said good evening back. Thanks. Appreciate
good evening.
Man, what's going on, guys? How was your weekend? How'd you guys spend Cinco de Mayo? We celebrated more than the Mexicans do, so
I don't think they even recognize.
Yeah, I don't.
Just another May 5th to them.
That ain't that the truth, right? How'd you guys spend Star Wars Day? Right, May the 4th. You got Cinco de Mayo.
Watching the F1 race, that was great.
I weekend prepped as well as I show prepped. So I told my nephews I'd take them to a soccer game, which was Saturday night at 7:30, ended around 10-ish.
Oh boy.
Forgot that I had signed up for, which ended up running a half marathon Sunday morning, which get in the crowds at 6:30 in the morning, start at 7 sharp.
Wow.
They live out in the suburbs, my brother does, so I had to drive them. I got home at 1 a.m., went to sleep, woke up at 5, headed out there and ran a half marathon. I'm still in physical pain. It was raining and 50 degrees here. Yes, sorry. It's up to 70s again now. I don't know what that was. DJ, you probably experienced the same thing. It got really cold for 2 days. So I sat outside in the rain and watched the soccer game for 3 hours.
It's going to drop down again.
It's going to drop down in the 80s.
That was my race prep. Was sitting outside in the rain Saturday night, getting home really late, and then waking up 4 hours later and running this thing in the rain again. So,
well, I'll tell you,
you finished, right?
Yeah, I did finish. And shout out to Coach Meyer. I was wearing her shorts. I had a good 45 minutes to an hour left on the. They give you a lot of time on this. Okay. So I did not almost get DQ'd.
Nice. Sweet.
Run for those who can, Vish. Run for those who can.
DQ'd. Shout out to Coach Meyer. I wore the shorts she gave me in there, which
that's cool.
Not ideal for running, a little heavy, especially when they're waterlogged, but got through it anyway.
You got through it, man. You got through it. You ran that one for Coach Meyer.
And maybe I'll be able to walk again at some point this week. I am limping around. I look injured. I am injured. It's bad.
What's up, Juliana? What's up, buddy? By the way, we'll talk about it tomorrow, but probably the best race so far on this year in F1 was this weekend in Miami. I got, at least in my opinion, I think it was one of the better races, and it's not only because Max lost. Just think it was a
It
good.
is kind of
good
Max lost.
Yeah,
That
I
is
was
one
gonna
of the-
say.
If it was,
That is
if
one of
that
the good
safety
things.
car, if Magnuson did, we'll talk about this tomorrow. But it would have been another. Oh, Max coasted to an easy win.
Hey,
And no one would be
Although
I'll take
I mean,
it. I'll take whatever.
hey man, Lando got him by 7.6 seconds. That's pretty impressive. So
Yes, you
couldn't
lost,
close
man.
the gap.
You lost, Max.
Couldn't close the gap. I lost. Oh, did you lose? Oh yeah, you lost.
Well,
You
Max
definitely lose.
Verstappen lost.
You definitely lost. You definitely lost.
And the Canes baseball won a series. So we'll talk
Oh
about
my
that.
gosh.
Squeaked one out over BYU.
Yeah, fascinating stuff there for Canes baseball. But yeah, so cool. By the way, I made the best DJ. I don't know if you saw it on Instagram, but the best tacos birria last night.
I did.
Holy guacamole!
Ugh,
Pun intended there.
I
I
was
made
jealous.
some kick-ass tacos birria. Oh man, it was amazing, amazing. So
Leftovers?
yeah, I'm eating them tonight. It was so awesome. It was awesome. So, and I'm getting ready, man. I got a big birthday coming up. You know, I'm fortunate enough to share my birthday this year on Mother's Day. Right, it falls every 4 or 5 years. I get to celebrate my birthday on Mother's Day. So this
Wow,
Sunday,
happy birthday.
yeah, this Sunday is Mother's Day and it's my birthday. But I'm excited to be able to celebrate both at my mama's house. We're gonna be doing it at my mama's
Good.
house. So yeah, pretty excited about
That's
that.
good stuff. Yeah.
The weather's supposed to be real nice this weekend too. So we'll see. We're praying. We're
93
praying
on
for that.
Sunday. So
I'll
you'll be
take it,
fine.
man. And anything to get me in that pool. Anything to get me in that pool. 93 sounds good to me. So it means
Look,
the
Look at
pool will warm
Vish.
up,
You
you know?
guys won't see that until like for a day.
Oh no, we did see it. It was like that last week, and then the temperature dropped like 40 degrees. Right up. Oh,
Yep.
I have to go right outside now. This is great.
Yep.
Carnitas tacos are good stuff too. Did you guys make any Mexican food?
No, I
Yeah,
didn't.
I made
I'm not a
chili
good
last
cook.
week, so that
So,
Kind of counts.
I came home and slept, and then woke up when the race was almost over. Like, hey, why isn't Max winning?
Yeah, that's yeah.
I didn't watch it.
No, it was more like what the hell is Lando doing winning?
It was, I didn't even notice who it was. I was just like, that does not say Verstappen.
That's pretty awesome. That's pretty
But
awesome.
anyway, yeah. So
Hey man, drop a comment. Drop a comment, fan. Whoever's watching to see what you guys made on Cinco de Mayo. By Tacos Birria were the bee's knees.
carnitas tacos. I like those.
I
Those are
mean,
good
Max
stuff.
is in like the epicenter of Mexican food.
Yeah, like
So-
exactly. You can't go wrong there in his neck of the woods.
Well,
for-
that's like
Mexican
under the
food.
radar. People, for whatever reason, that aren't obviously from South Florida, think there's good Mexican food in Miami. There absolutely is not.
Nothing
It's
compared to
You
San
can,
Diego.
basically, you can basically get every other kind of food there except that. You
Nothing
gotta go
compared to
elsewhere.
there's some good Mexican food. There's some good little
It's
spots.
not.
It's nothing compared to San Diego, but
It-
they got some good little. And you know what? There's
A lot of
there's
good Cuban places.
Yeah,
yeah.
no, you get Cuban,
Yeah.
pretty much stuff from
Yeah.
any country in South America, but the Mexican is not up to standard.
You gotta go. You gotta go to the places that hole in the walls. Like Taqueria is pretty good. The one down in 8th Street. But anyways,
As
not so
compared to the
not so many
local
big places.
scene.
Well,
If you
well,
if you
it's
tried
different.
to open, if you took that and tried to open it in Max's neck of the woods, they would close it immediately.
Taqueria might be
Nah.
all right.
No, I'm not having that.
It's good. It's good.
well, it's kind of interesting that the title of this episode is that the Miami Hurricanes beef up in the transfer portal.
Well, yeah,
I like
right.
the connection there.
I like that.
That was accidental, but we'll roll with it.
We'll take it. We'll take it. Speaking of beefing up that line, the defensive line, we talked about it. They needed maybe another defensive line or two. They seem to have gotten potentially one of the best ones, the top one or two defensive tackle prospects in the transfer portal now. So really excited about Simeon Barrow coming in from Michigan State and committed to the Miami Hurricanes. I think it's a position where, look, with the departure of Jared Harrison Hunt, Leonard Taylor last year, you got some guys there, and obviously you brought in CJ Clark, but you've got some of the returning guys like Josh Horton and Ahmad Moten, and then you've got the recruits Artavius Jones and Justin Scott and Marley Cook, another transfer portal guy. So it's not a bad room, but now you add another big time stud in Simeon Barrow.
Proven stud.
Proven. That's the big thing, right? Pretty excited about bringing him in, and coming in and getting ready to as you mentioned, Vish, on the on Twitter, beefing up that defensive line. So really excited about him, Blue. Your experience in being able to watch uh, Simeon Barrow play a little bit at Michigan State, and even before that, what are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, difference maker, tough to block one-on-one. That's for sure. That guy will shed you real quick. I mean, he's strong, got an attitude on that field. He just plays. I mean, I'll tell you what, great hands. He can control the offensive line. It's not easy. It's not easy to go. People want to go right at him, but he'll play that off and get you. His best thing to do is run away from him, like they used to do with Lawrence Taylor. And so that way, if he has to pursue, he's got to cut through a lot of real estate to get to you. But if you run right at him, you're giving him more of an opportunity. And he's a showstopper. He's a guy that's going to be right in that rotation day one. You're not going to be able to keep him out because he can make plays, and that's what Miami's looking for. And in Miami once again beat a star quality kid from a lot of really good teams that wanted him. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm proud. I was looking, and tell you what, DJ, at 9-10 win seasons looking pretty damn good right now.
I'll still take the under just because I'm kind of a pessimist.
You go 7-5 and they'll kick your ass off this show.
You bet damn right. Damn right.
The first time probably won't be the last time either, but I'm still here, baby. No, but on the Barrow front, I mean, I saw him get to play at Michigan State a little bit last year, and he's not your typical space-filling defensive lineman, and that's all he can do. He can also go into the backfield and pressure the quarterback. He led the Spartans with 22 pressures last season, and he's a difference maker. Like Blue said, he's extremely athletic. He can get to the quarterback. He can shed his blocks quickly. So I think this was a really strong get, and Big Ten football is certainly nothing to scoff at either. So it was a good get by the Hurricanes at a position of need, and they filled it quickly.
It was a struggling Michigan State team. I know they had some issues, particularly on that offensive side, losing guys.
Yeah, the offense was terrible.
They lost, right? As much as I hate to say it, but they lost Keon Coleman, guys like that, right? They lost some big-time players on that side, and, the whole debacle with their head coach as well. It's just a lot of crap happening there. But that was a talented football program. If you saw what they did a couple of years ago, they brought in a really great recruiting class, and obviously the transfer portal was huge there in Michigan State. When everything else kind of falls apart around you, and you lose some guys as well, and you don't recuperate those guys, this is what's going to happen, right? You get some of the better players like him, like the kid Derek Harmon, and some of the other guys that are leaving that program now. Look for another place to play, and Simeon Barrow is one of those guys. Yeah, exactly, that guy. Hey, yeah, exactly. He developed at Michigan State. That point exactly, right? It's important to get some of those big time prospects like that. Now you bring in a guy like Barrow. Now the problem is he's gonna have to live up to that name here at Miami, right? Because that last name is synonymous with excellence at the University of Miami. So you're gonna have to get it together. Norman, hey, what's up, Norman? Fujioka here. We were going after both Harmon and Barrow. Barrow is the more important get. Yeah, I know Harmon decided not to visit or whatnot, but shout out to Norman. Thanks for $15 dono, man. Yes, Barrow, it was the guy that I think Coach Cristobal, Coach Joe, Jason Taylor, those guys really liked on that line. And I think he's going to provide a lot of depth. He's going to provide, a little more space eating on that defensive tackle line. He's going to be able to get to the quarterback a little bit, as DJ mentioned also. So he might not be your 350 pounder, but he's what, 6'3", 310, something around 305, somewhere along that line. So he's got the strength. He's still got the size at 6'3". And if he can go get the quarterback a little bit, I think that's great also, because you do have CJ Clark on the other side of him, who is about 320, right? He's a big dude. So you've got some space eaters there. You've got the guys behind them, like Ahmad Moten is definitely a space eater. Josh Horton's over 300 pounds. He's 6'5". So it's exciting times for that defensive line. I think Coach Joe, Jason Taylor, and the rest of the guys there that are coaching that line are going to be able to eat a little bit this year. Gus, what's up, GT? Fresh Matt King. So we'll get to some of the other guys, but before we get to some of the other guys, Miami's now at a point where they're at about. I mean, just looking at after the college football, after the spring games and all that, there's a lot of hype, behind them now. We're talking about, having a top 10 running back, having a top 10 quarterback, having a top 10, potentially a top 10 wide receiver, and not only Xavier Restrepo, but now you got a kid like Sam Brown, also, and the rest of that wide receiver room, and then you've got all the, you've got a top 10. Or even a top 5 offensive lineman in Jaden Rivers, who's starting to garner a lot of attention at that offensive line position, at that tackle position. It seems like a lot of coaches and teams are really starting to give him the recognition that's deserved. He's a hell of a lineman. So, and then you bring in some of the other guys that we've got there as well. I know Miami's still trying to go after a couple of other guys. What are we, seeing, Blue? Look, we've got. I know Isaiah Pons was a big name that Miami was looking after from JMU, ended up committing to Indiana. I know that his former coach at JMU was over at Indiana, so that was a big deal. But there was some other stuff behind the scenes that apparently had him going over to Indiana instead of Miami. But I know he was a Miami lean. Whatever the case was, he ended up going somewhere else. We keep hearing the name Matt King in the chat.
King
Mack, as a potential guy to come in and play. Can you tell me a little bit about King Mack, Blue? For some of the guys that don't know about him?
Yeah. Penn State wanted him really, really bad. St. Thomas Aquinas kid. He was.
Any relation to Brian Mack?
No relation. But I'll tell you what, though, this is a big time player. When he left here, everybody kind of knew Penn State, coveted him from the beginning. And he is fast, powerful. He could cover. He'll knock you out. He's a major kid. That's why Alabama is looking at him, and Florida State and a couple of other programs. But you know what? Opportunity to stay home. Opportunity to fill in a position of need in Miami. You're still looking for those. Some catalysts in the secondary. Yeah, I heard the name and I like it.
Where was he at this past year?
Penn State.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we know that that's still a position that, obviously we've got Dione Hill that committed last week. We've got, some good names there, Daryl Porter and Damari Brown. But Rich, I kind of want to get your take on the secondary. I've been hearing a little bit also from what I've been reading that, a lot of these critics and a lot of these coaches, and analysts and this, that, and the other, and guys that kind of look at college football are really starting to like this program, like this team. They're really excited about what Mario's done in the portal. And not because Mario did, he legitimately got some really, really, really big time talent in this portal, right? As we mentioned in the last week's episode, he's all in, right? This is a team that he needs to take to the playoffs at this point. This is where we are with the level of talent that he's put together on this program. But they kept saying the weak spot, if there's a weakness on this team right now, it's a secondary. If you bring in a guy like King Mack, now you've got Dione Hill and King Mack that can play inside and outside. All right, you've got two of them that can play, different positions. But the word was Mish Powell was coming down and playing the nickel a lot, right? And now this gives Mish Powell an opportunity to go back to safety, kind of focus on that position, right? Obviously, Savion Riley entering the portal and leaving now also kind of gives them an opportunity to go back there and really kind of hone in on that safety position. This would be a huge pickup to get a guy like King Mack. But I think that more importantly, it's an opportunity for us to build more depth at that defensive back position. It's a position that's potentially a weakness this could definitely help. Yeah.
Yeah, and they know it's a weakness. You can see that's who they're targeting the secondary to build in more depth. It is the weakness on the team right now. Yeah, they're gonna keep it tight until they build that depth in. And you mentioned versatility, and that's because frankly they're gonna piece it together. This is the worst spot on the roster by a fair margin at this point, and so I don't even know even if they get King back, if they're done, they might go for one more.
Yeah.
They need like they're pretty. I mean, I think Barrow plugged. We were all kind of like, oh wow, Jared Harrison Hunt left, upgraded, right? And so this is an upgraded version of that. So he'll play inside, he'll eat up more space. So we kind of plug that gap. The secondary, like you mentioned Riley, we had him. We thought, okay, there's a step in the right direction. He's gone, after spring ball. So that was a hole they tried to address before spring ball. It didn't work. And it is a little bit in the danger zone now. And you mentioned this is a team. It's kind of under the radar, despite landing a lot of top players in the portal, bringing a top 5 recruiting class. Because, look, 20 years of Lucy pulling the football away from Charlie Brown, you're not very comfortable running up to it and swinging at it, right? So I mean, if this was a team that had not repeatedly shot itself in the foot as a program over the last 20 years, I think there'd be a lot more hype around it. Seems like every time people start to get excited, something catastrophic like not kneeling the ball happens. And, that's an absurd example of something, but it's always something tends to go wrong with this program. And so I think that's some of the skepticism. But the football reason to be skeptical is the secondary. I mean, you could see them struggling against good passing attacks right now and not really having the personnel to defend. And it's really going to put a lot on Ruben Bain and Akeem Mesidor to basically pressure the hell out of the quarterback to not allow them to get ripped apart in the secondary, because this is definitely the weakest unit on the team.
All that being said, and I know some guys, by the way, shout out to Tap. Max Autism Awareness for Life is in the chat. What's going on, man? He may not be a day one guy. I think that, look, either way, bring him in and develop him, and still go after, like you said, Vitch, right? They might not be done. They might still need to go after that guy that's going to come in and be a day one contributor right away.
Yeah, and to Tap's point, but I mean, who? I mean, it's like they started with.
There may be some guys out there. I just don't.
Yeah, it's like they're starting with the players they're looking at now, right? They swung and missed at Xavier Riley.
And yes, we need.
Well,
they
swung and hit, but then it was an out, basically with Xavier Riley. So pretty much. So yeah, to like it's. Of course, they would love to have like a lock-on All-American type that they could just plug into the lineup. That does not appear to be available.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, you do need depth pieces because injuries can happen very quickly. And I mean, I think a lot of times fans of, every program get caught up in, we need this guy, we need this 5-star recruit, or else we're not going to get him. You also need to build like a house, right? And you have the main pieces, but you also need the foundation of the house itself. And a lot of times those depth pieces can provide that, and you do need them in case of an emergency or due to injury.
Yeah, I'm okay with bringing a guy like that in if there's room, right? If you're talking about, well, there's only 2 spots left, and you got to go get either the guy that you're going to develop,
right,
or the guy that you're going to kind of plug and play. Is there a guy out there that's plug and play ready right now that you say undoubtedly you say he's going to beat out Damari, or he's going to beat out Daryl Porter, or Mish Powell, or Jaden Harris, whoever you have out there? I think that you kind of got that guy that's going to be able to get significant playing time in Dione Hill. I think that he's someone that's going to get significant snaps, a significant amount of snaps. You're probably going to bring in another guy. I know that there's other positions as well, like Tyler Barron, the kid from Tennessee, that Miami is really high on, and he's high on them as well. And I would kind of agree. I would kind of agree with what Max said in the chat about that we have depth. We do have some guys there, right? We've got the Robert Stafford, and we've got some of these guys that we can develop.
Where's the star power coming from? It's fine to say.
That's my thing. Yeah, who's the star? who's the star in spring, that we're going to be able to pull. Blue, do you know of any guys that maybe are in the portal now or that could potentially all of a sudden the name pop up that could potentially have that star power at cornerback or at defensive back? I mean, I'm not sure if there's too many there.
Well, here's the thing, too. The front seven got a whole lot better. So that's going to take a lot of stress off the secondary. I mean, you won't have to be, you're going to have to still be good. But I think from the front seven and having what you have up front and then the linebacker play, which is vastly improved, I think that gives a lot of those players that are coming in a chance to get chemistry together and kind of mesh. And, obviously, Florida comes out, they're still kind of unsure about throwing the ball around, so that may give them a little bit of a test right off the bat. But, I don't disagree that they shouldn't bring anybody in. But right now, if you don't, then I wouldn't just reach for just another body. Right. Because you have plenty of other bodies on the team right now.
Yeah. I agree. I think it's going to be interesting to see what they do now within the next, couple of weeks or so if they bring in another guy, Danny Berry, Marine E. What's going on, fellas? To see who they bring in. I know there's a couple of other guys out there that Miami's still looking at. As I mentioned before, Tyler Barron and some others. So we'll kind of keep an eye out on that to see what happens. What does the tap say here? Zaquan is going to be a star. We need to develop Robert Stafford and Dylan Day. Right. Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I know there's guys here that we could develop. I mean, Dylan Day's a freshman, true freshman. Robert Stafford is a second-year guy. You did lose Freeney in the transfer portal, and you lost Devontae in the transfer portal as well, who could have been a serviceable backup, I think, at this point. But he wanted to be a starter, so he's going to go suck at FSU. Good for him. The truth is that I think that you still need to build some more depth and develop that depth and bring in a guy that can maybe, get a little more playing time right now. So that's going to be interesting to see. Tyler Barron is a big name, though. I keep going back to him because he's a guy that's visited Miami. He's a guy that's, he's got potential to be a really good football player. I like him. You bring him into this group of defensive ends, of edge guys, of rushers, and you're talking about, you already have one of the top 5 defensive end rooms in the country. You bring in another guy like Tyler Barron, now you're talking about solidifying that defensive end room as being, potentially the best in the country. I think he can be a really good player. I know he's still got some developing as well, but I still think that he's a damn good kid that can get a lot of snaps here at Miami. Also, you lost some guys there on that side of the ball at that position. Also, why not bring in another guy? So those are just some of the guys. By the way, I wanted to bring something up which totally has nothing to do with this, which I started laughing about though. But we have the first bowl game that's going to be sponsored by an alcoholic beverage here soon. And I'm really excited about it because it is Snoop Dogg. It's a Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl brought to you by Gin and Juice.
Oh, wow.
I mean, does it get any better than that?
Well, it could be if you had Hennessy Bowl. So
listen, I got to go with the Gin and Juice Bowl by the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl brought to you by Gin and Juice.
It's awesome.
Come on. Listen,
it's awesome.
If the players don't walk out to that song, what are we doing? Right?
What are we doing is...
What are we doing? You got to come out to Gin and Juice.
The players... It's a little bit before their time, slightly.
Down the street.
No, I understand people of our age.
Snoop Dogg is timeless, though.
That song was like popular when we were kids, Jazz.
I know. Listen, I had the CD Doggy Style.
So would you walk out to? What would be I don't even know what the comparison would be. Like, what the hell was popular in the 60s? That's what we're talking about.
Jumping Jack Flash or something? No.
Exactly. If it was the Jumping Jack Flash Bowl, you wouldn't be like, I'm not walking out to that crap.
Oh, man. But you know what? The truth is, like DJ said, it's a classic. It's a timeless.
Snoop Dogg is timeless.
It's timeless. And, the players can relate to it, right? It's hip-hop music. They can relate to that kind of music, you know. They can't relate to jumping jack flip flop or whatever the hell you said, you know. They can't relate to that.
We can't because it was about the same time before our time as this was to them.
The kids can still relate to sipping on gin and juice.
There's no way that's
come on. We need to get a player in here. We need to get a player on the show and ask him if he
knows what it is.
If he would rock with the gin and juice bowl. Hell yeah. I guarantee I'm gonna put my money on that.
I'd bet my life savings on it, yeah.
You don't know what it is. The gin and juice bowl? Come on, man. Come on. Tap says, bro, is that for real? Listen, if
I just go there to get the goodie bag.
That's how I'm telling you, right? That would be fantastic, man. Are you kidding me?
I think you'd be surprised.
Oh man, let me see what Blue's favorite recruit, Elijah.
Max is not having our nonsense. He wants to talk football.
Yeah, I know, right? McContos is in the portal. Who is that, Blue? Elijah McContos.
Oh, McContos, who used to be here at Miami Edison.
Okay.
Yeah, good. Long kid. Really long kid.
What position does he play?
They play corner safety, but he's a long kid.
Okay.
He was going to go, I think he went to Illinois. I believe. I know he's maybe Flo could tell you. I know that he
Max,
but he's a big time kid. And being from down here and play for Luther Campbell and he would be good. His length was a thing that everybody liked, about him. So
he went to Illinois. He's in the portal now, Max says. So
okay.
I'm telling you, there's a lot of kids that, they
sent in,
they sent in their paperwork on Wednesday. And sometimes it takes a couple days for everything to kind of go through. So they can't really talk about it. They can't really announce it officially until it does and it gets approved, yada, yada, yada. So
they're delivering it by Pony Express. So.
Yeah, no kidding. They're delivering it by Raven at this point. It's, sometimes they don't announce it until later. So you might hear some new names. You're probably still going to hear some names from Miami leaving. Also, maybe one or two.
It has to because you still got too many.
They're at 84 right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, they are 84?
Yeah, they're at 84. But I still expect a couple more to leave because you still need to fill those last 2 or 3 spots that you have available. So I think that you're gonna see that within the next week or so. So we'll probably have some more stuff to talk about. Look, Jamie French, from what I saw, announced that he has a top 10. Miami's in the top 10 or something along those lines. But I know that we're one of the teams. 5-star wide receiver was committed to Alabama, another big time prospect.
Yeah, big time kid.
Yeah. So
producer, it's one of those kids that you talk about, and then you go see him play, and he produces. It's not like oh, he was good when I saw him before. No, he had a great state championship game against Columbus, and every time I've seen him, saw him last summer a bunch. He was at a couple of 7-on-7 events. He was up at Tallahassee, and he was at University of Florida when I saw his team. His team won. And their quarterback's pretty good too. He's going to FSU.
Gotcha.
They got a bunch of dudes.
Let's see what they said. What Flo says. Yeah, we're under like at 83, 84, but there's a few that are graduating and quitting football, so they probably won't announce anything. Good point. Yeah, if they're gonna quit football or something like
Redding that. Redding is graduating, right?
Redding's graduating. I don't know, if he's gonna get much playing time. He may be one of those casualties. Definitely Nelson and Zion. Wow, Nelson and Zion, not Zion Nelson. Nelson and Zion. Fresh. That was cool.
They're both graduating.
I like it. By the way, it's the same person, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Zion Nelson.
Yeah, Nelson and Zion. Is that the reggaeton group that he's talking about?
Yeah.
Nelson and Zion. Zion Nelson is another guy. Yeah, his injuries, I think, at this point, he's not gonna get time either. So that makes
went from a first-round draft pick to
unbelievable. I mean, I think first of all he was overhyped.
Brad Kaya. He'll be the second quarterback taken next year.
Yeah. Well, we all had.
Hey, but we have to say that the all-time leading rusher in Miami Hurricane football history has retired from football. Congratulations to
Duke Johnson,
one of the best guys in Duke Johnson, and
great guy, great kid, great
had
football
an average
player, great person.
career in the NFL, but he played and. Great guy. And
I think he had an underrated college football career. I think just because he didn't play on the greatest teams, right? He was phenomenal though as a running back.
But
Very good.
to leave as an all-time leading rusher in Miami history is still pretty good.
I would say so. That's another great stat that I think the most rushing touchdowns by school in the NFL right now. The leader is Miami as well. They're like at 600 touchdowns or something like that.
It's not close.
Yeah, it's not even close. Alabama's number 2, and they're up by like 300 touchdowns or something.
Doubled
crazy.
them up basically.
Yeah, went over 25 years or what?
Yeah, something like that. I saw it here.
I think it's even before that because like Chuck Foreman and stuff ran numbers.
Oh wow!
So
Otis Anderson, Chuck Foreman.
There's some long history before the university was even good. They were putting people on the pro. So
they would have 3 and 4 guys and not 13 and 14 guys. But it's just like when I always say that Ted Hendricks, in my estimation, and I still think he's the best Hurricane of all time, any way you slice it, because you got to remember when he played, the only other guy that went on the NFL was Dunn from Coral Gables, went to the Steelers. Other than that, he was on an island by himself. So when you look at Jerome Brown and those guys, they had 9 and 10 guys around him on that defense. So
actually, it's a little closer than I thought it was. It was by 100 touchdowns. They got him by 104 touchdowns. Miami 628 touchdowns since 1966.
Okay, that was his junior year. So
there you go. 628. Alabama 524. Georgia 467. Oklahoma 428. And then Florida 414. So
wow,
still by 104 touchdowns.
I was gonna say, think Oklahoma back then because they ran that wishbone that they would have a whole bunch.
Yeah, I thought maybe Nebraska might be in there.
Same thing. Yeah. They ran that.
Yeah, but when you start looking at who they put in the pros, and it starts to dwindle down a bit.
That's true. Good point. Blue, we got a question here from Max. Your thoughts on Nakai Martinez as a potential slot? Anybody with the last name Martinez is good. Come on, bring it.
Yeah. I like him a lot.
Yeah,
was pretty good player in high school, and I'd like to see him.
Where is he at now?
He's in the portal.
Is he in the portal, Max? What school did he go to, Blue?
Didn't he go to UCF? Because there's a Nick Kai Martinez, but I think he plays defensive back. Trying to think what it.
He was at UCF, and he's in the slot. And he's apparently in the portal. Yeah, from UCF.
Came out of Popka.
Started for a few years there. So he started at UCF. He's in the portal now. Nakai Martinez.
He's nice. He was a coveted guy. I don't see UCF having that many guys that he would be forced to go out, but you never know. They're picking up a lot of kids too.
Well, now you're talking about a slot guy. You're talking about a slot receiver, right? Obviously, X is out of here after this year. But
I thought he was talking about a corner.
He is a corner.
Oh, slot corner, not a slot receiver.
Yeah, he's a corner.
My bad. That's my mistake.
He's a DB. That's why I was saying.
Okay. Yeah,
that's probably why he went into the portal, because he changed positions. Holy mackerel! Yeah, he was really, really good. He was coveted. He came in the slot corner. He came in with Walker, the defensive tackle out of Osceola, who. That was the first guy that they sold on the fact that they were going to be a Power 5, whatever it is, Power 4 team. That their recruiting is changed. That's why they have Swint. That's why they got, what's his name from St. Thomas?
Penny Boone actually just committed there now also.
Jakari Brown.
Yeah, Jakari Brown. You've got some good prospects that have.
Well, you have to. I mean, their schedule is stupid. I mean, they got both Arizona State, Utah, Colorado, in addition to Iowa State, Baylor, Kansas, Kansas State, and Florida. They play Florida.
Yeah, that's a big time.
They got a schedule.
Schedule now. Does he fit here as a slot corner?
I think he would.
Slot corner,
yeah.
Who would you say is the better prospect?
Miami was on him coming out of high school. And then all of a sudden, he was fed you stay home and play Power 5 football. Who does he remind me of?
No. Who would you say Actually, let's throw in another name there. Fresh talks about Brooks, the DB from Texas as well, that apparently is in the portal. Also, you're talking about Dione Hill, who's already here, and now
Deani Hill, you watch his film, man.
who
You
do you
got to
like
be
out of
impressed.
those three? Who do you like out of those three the most?
I like Deani Hill because I think he's a producer, and he's a guy that comes in and just plug and play type kid, and especially because he knows the system.
Right.
See, Nakai will probably have to, I mean, Nakai's got athletic ability, and I certainly thought Miami would get him initially, but then, they fed him all this BS as, hey, you're 10 minutes from home and people could see you, and, we're going to be playing so-and-so, and we're going to almost beat Oklahoma, but get crushed by 40 by Kansas.
Go for it's impressive what you see.
It's fun.
With Nigel Lee, Traquan, and Tennyson and Penny Boone, as I mentioned earlier. Antoine Jackson's over there also now. So, look, the transfer portal's changed everything. We talked about it a little bit, Blue, actually on your show last week.
Yeah.
On Tuesday, if high school football, high school recruiting is dead. And I said no, right? I kind of said, I don't think it's dead. I just think it's changed. And I think you've got to be able, as a coach, you've got to be able to adapt. As a player, you got to be able to adapt and understand that you're unfortunately, this is the way it is, right? The first school that you go to may not be the school you're going to be at in 2 or 3 years. But it's an opportunity for you to go in and potentially develop and get some experience and then hit the portal. I mean, that happens more often than not now at this point. So you're talking about, I also mentioned that, the coaches, there's going to be a select few coaches, 10, 15 guys all across the country that are going to be able to withstand this change in the recruiting landscape and be able to attack both the transfer portal and high school recruiting with tenacity, with the same amount of energy as they would for each other, right? And I think obviously a guy like Mario can do that, right? We've seen him be able to do it already. But some of the top programs, that's how they're, we're talking about adding more parity to the game. I think that eventually the parity is going to go away again, and you're going to have those top 10 or top 15 programs that are going to continuously be good. You'll throw in a UCF here and there or a Kansas here and there that'll do something crazy a year or two and be pretty good, and then boom, they disappear again because they can't sustain that. Are we? And I want to talk about. I want Vish and DJ's take on this. We'll start with you, Vish. And what I'm trying to say is that I think that I don't think high school football or high school recruiting is dead. I just think it's changed. And as I mentioned, I think that whoever does it the best and is able to get the guys in the transfer portal is going to be able to stick around. And you're going to get those 10 to 15 coaches that are going to be able to do that for the long haul. What are your thoughts on something like that?
Yeah, I think it's just adapting to the new environment. I think we've been conditioned to essentially, once the kid signs their letter of intent, they're held hostage. They're going to be at that school for a long time. Transferring means sitting out a year and, limited options. So it wasn't really done frequently. Now, too, you can leave whenever you want and get into another school and go, right? So what has changed is that these coaches now got to realize, hey, I got to, first of all, be honest with the kids because they're used to lying to them to get them to sign, and then they're screwed either way, right? I mean, the whole bait and switch isn't going to work because they'll just head into the portal. And also really look at, what is in the best interest of their program, because every school is churning these kids now, right? Like they're coming in, a lot of them stay for a year, maybe two, and then they leave. Is that actually good for your program or not? Do you start, changing who you target? And the ones that adapt will thrive, and the ones that can't will fail and or go to the NFL, which we've seen some coaches already start to do. But this is not some kind of instrument. I know there's a lot of pour one out for the death of college football. This is not that.
Yeah.
And it's just adapting to an environment which, frankly, the rest of the business world runs like. You hire someone, they don't like it, they find another job, you deal with it.
That's it.
You don't fold the company up. So, and this is kind of similar to that. So part of it, again, it'll serve the ones that are honest, that don't screw kids over, that don't bait and switch them, that'll come in and say, hey, I'm recruiting you right now. Realistically, you're not going to start for 2 years. And, be honest with them about that in the recruiting process so that if they get the kid, they know he's in it for the long haul. Because the whole oh, yeah, sure, you can start as a true freshman. They tell 25 kids that ain't happening. And so, those are the ones that you're going to see, the whole roster turnover repeatedly, and that's not going to sustain the programs. So I think it's just the ones that adapt well. I think Mario's well suited to do that. He's this generally known as a straight shooter. He doesn't play games, and that'll actually serve you well in this environment because, when kids show up, they know what they're getting into.
Right.
Doesn't mean kids won't end up in the portal. We've seen several of ours do it because, again, if you're not playing, it doesn't work out. You're going to hit it. But how they recruit and how they target, very different now. Because the whole goal before was just to get them to sign. Because once they sign, you own them. Take an act of God to get them out of that letter of intent. Now, they'll just go in the portal. We see kids do that. Right. Sign and in the portal, right? So because of that, you do have to the goal is not to get them to sign. The goal is to create an environment in your program that matches what you're selling and recruiting. And if you do that, they know what they signed up for. They're much less likely to go into the portal. And, everyone's got to adapt to that. People that are used to, I don't know, just saying for certain things, giving out Dodge Chargers under the table and lying to kids left and right, might retire and then throw shade at everyone afterwards. That could happen. Not naming names or anything.
We would never.
No, I don't. Just speculating that maybe someone did that. But for those that are used to being an honest broker, dealing with the parents directly, and being this is actually going to help them in the long run because they'll know, hey, this guy is being straight with me. If he says I can play my first year, it's probably because I'm going to have a chance to do that because he would have told me if I wouldn't. And I think that's where I actually think we're in really good shape with that.
I agree. And by the way, Max, that's about the only bright spot right now that I can think of on this.
I was looking. I mean, this will be on Canes on Deck tomorrow. I was looking at that when we rolled the roster out this weekend, the lineup, and half the team was below the Mendoza line. I'm like, this team sucks, man. Really, really sucks.
So bad.
I never thought the Mendoza line would come back into play, man, but we just brought it back.
Oh yeah, it's back, baby. It's back. Anyways,
it was actually a good week for Canes baseball because we didn't play any conference games and everyone else lost. We're very close to clinching the ACC tournament. So.
We're almost there, baby.
We're almost there. Yeah, we have to do some catastrophic, which we've done. So let's not.
Right, it's not.
But we're
looking pretty good.
We're looking pretty good for sliding in there as the 11 or 12 seed.
DJ, do you? I guess the question that I have for you is: do you think high school recruiting is dead?
No, I just think high school recruiting is going to be more selective, and you're going to have to rely on your coaching staff a bit more in the sense that you need to be a strong developer. You need to tell kids that you'll be able to, whether their goal is to go into the NFL or whatever, they need to know that they are in a, solid place where they can develop. I think the transfer portal is good for a lot of things. It's good for a lot of quick fixes, but in terms of building a program, high school recruiting still has some merit to it as well. I think as far as, overall, again, it goes back to structure. The structure of the program, you need high school recruits.
Right.
I don't think high school recruiting is dead. I think it's just going to be prioritized a little bit differently. I think you're going to see coaches be a lot more selective with the types of positions they recruit. I think you're going to see a lot of maybe preferred walk-on, type of scholarships or things like that, or something funded through NIL. And I also think you're going to see, a lot more, high schoolers being more selective about their decisions as well. I mean, it used to be you got offered by a school, you accepted the offer, and this, that, and the other thing. I think high schoolers are going to have to do their homework a little bit more because there are benefits to the transfer portal, and I don't think that's going away anytime soon. So I guess long story short, high school recruiting I don't think is dead. It's just going to be more selective and more kind of, specific to what the teams want.
Yeah, I think you might see smaller recruiting classes.
Yeah.
You might see, but like you said, they're going to key in on some of those really, really special dogs, right? They're going to try to go after those guys. Blue, I never got to hear your thoughts on this. We'll kind of wrap up with this because, because we're out of time, really.
Yeah.
I kind of want to get your thought. You asked me the same question. I thought that was interesting, to kind of hear your thoughts on how you feel about high school recruiting right now. If not only if it's dead, but if there's still a way that college football can have parity, or is it more like what I mentioned, right? A couple schools are going to really hone in on it. They're going to perfect the art of being able to do both well, and it's just going to kind of be the same thing as it was 20 years ago when Alabama started kicking ass and doing what they were doing.
Yeah.
You're going to have some of those coaches that are going to be able to kick, to really do well in this, and it's just going to be a different way of recruiting.
I think what it's going to do is it's going to help a lot of the smaller schools. It's going to be kind of a trickle down because whereas you used to put 25, 26 freshmen on your roster, not so much anymore. So what's going to happen is your schools like, Jacksonville States and schools like that, Bethune, I'll tell you, Florida A&M is already benefiting because they've gotten a few kids that probably could have played, not at a major school, but could have probably played, at a smaller Power 5 school at the time. But now they're getting trickled down where a lot of these, like these Max, Sunbelt are loading up on kids, even NAIA schools, because here's the thing, and they have a good sales pitch because they can walk in the door and tell, this kid who's, 3-4 star type kid who could easily be going to, to one of the UCF or something like that. And
Right.
What they're doing is they're telling them, listen, you can start out here. Next year, you could be gone. You could be up there. This would be a good reason for you to, get some playing time here. And then, someone's going to see and said, because look at how many guys, there was 4 Ivy League kids that came out and are in Power 4 schools, 3 in the SEC and 1 ACC team. Yep. They got 2 kids from Yale, 1 kid from Harvard, 1 kid from Brown that all, came over, and all of them had their degrees, obviously. But still, that's what I'm saying. So you get a kid, that goes to St. Thomas University or Kaiser, defending national champions, plays DB for a year. Actually, it happened. They had this kid, Phil Orr, who started for Kaiser last year. Now he's at FAU. So, that's who I think it's going to help. It would be tough to prove that it's killing high school football if you hang, for this last week. Oh, by the way, I saw the kid Pringle that was up at Armwood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The real deal.
Yeah, not bad. But the whole thing is this time of year, you still have kids running track and you have some kids playing baseball. So a lot of those, like the quarterback from Vero, who's going to Michigan, he's a baseball stud. So he was, I was over there, but he wasn't playing. But I got a chance to see a lot of the kids, Tampa Bay Tech and Tampa Jesuit, and I went over and saw Venice, and I was at Fort Myers and saw Jamie German's kid. Oh, man.
Yeah, I hear he's pretty damn good. Yeah, I hear he's pretty damn good.
Yeah, 9th grade kid. He's
at North Fort Myers, is it? Or Fort Myers?
He's at Fort Myers where his dad played.
Right.
And then I went so I saw a bunch. But the thing I was trying to get to is that everywhere I went, there were like 10, 12, 15 college coaches. Right. Tennessee, Wisconsin, Alabama. So that kind of shows you it's not dead. It may have slowed down. Go to the St. Thomas spring game on the 28th of May. when there's 65 to 70 college coaches there,
Right.
or go up to Palm Beach Gardens on the 20th where there's 12 teams, and playing from 8 in the morning till 10:30 at night. And that's what I'm saying. That's the part of it that you kind of question whether it's dead or not, because they're there watching high school kids. They're not there just, for the hell of it. And that's where you go to those events, and that's where you see a junior or a sophomore stud. You go, oh, wait a minute, I came for this guy, but
Right.
The same thing when Mark Rush back in the day, when he played at Stranahan before he came to Miami, they went actually and looked at their offense. There was an offensive center, and the Hurricanes went over to look at him, and they saw a kid who was 6'2", 225 pounds, running a 4.49. They go, wait a minute. So yeah, this is where you see, and I try to reiterate to parents, who are really, hey, my kid played against that kid and my kid did well, but that kid's getting Arkansas and all that. I said, here's the thing. When most of these kids in these classes, especially a senior class, last were seen was in November, December. And
Right.
that 5'7", 5'8", 155 pounder is 5'9", 190 now. So it changes whole recruitability. And you could watch all you want in T-shirt and shorts, but nothing disguises what you do on 4th and 2 and as a quarterback or a receiver and come up with a big catch. That's right. They want to see what they could do. Anybody could get out there in a pair of shorts and T-shirt. I think Manning's kid is a lot like that. He seems to perform in those little 7-on-7 things, and he ain't playing. Blake Ewers is probably the top quarterback next year coming out. So,
yeah, Quinn.
That's it.
Before we go, yeah, big shout out to Kane's great basketball player,
DeJuan Hernandez. Hoops legend DeJuan Hernandez.
I wish DeJuan. I wish they'd have.
Well, hold on that. First of all, DeJuan, feel free to come on Buckets anytime. Hit me up if you want to come on our hoop show.
Yeah, we've had him on the show before, right?
We had him before Buckets though.
Yeah,
that predated Buckets. Yeah, we talked to him.
You're angling towards that, but I don't think you're going to find it. I don't think.
Well, you kind of can do that now because you can do multi-year NIL deals. So that has been done.
Yeah, the NCAA it won't have anything to do with NCAA.
No, it's not going to be. It's not going to be signed contract with the school, but you can sign multi-year NIL deals. Right now, the kids don't need to go for it because they have leverage.
Right.
Why would I lock into a 2-year deal when I can renegotiate at the end of every year? But
Panthers scored, baby. Let's go.
But you can do all again.
You must really be on delay. This was like an hour ago.
These are it's not the NCAA that'll do it. It's
right.
These are business contracts. You can sign multi-years with binding work for competitor, all that stuff, and lock people in, and they've done that.
Yeah. Ralph Lopez here. I'm assuming it's Ralph Lopez. Miami is going hard in the portal out of need. Mario has 2 full recruiting cycles. As depth matures, the portal will still be important, but not as desperate. I disagree. I think the portal
it's going to be viable.
Yeah, it's going to be even crazier. It's just going to keep getting crazy. I don't think it's going to change. I don't think it's got anything to do with depth or Mario. I think all the schools that are going to want to compete on a yearly basis are going to have to go hard in the transfer portal no matter what.
It's also it's not just money that's driving this. I think money gets the headlines.
Sure.
There's opportunity to play as well, which is a bigger driver than money. The money's at the top end.
Sure.
There's a handful of kids that can name their price. Everyone else is primarily doing it because what's my better chance to get to the NFL, which is where the money is, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, transferring has been a thing since the beginning of time. It's just that now it's easy to do, but it's not. I think we make a mistake when we think the reason that there's 1,000 whatever kids in the portal is because of money. It's because they're not getting playing time where they were recruited. They often were lied to by their coaches. Some of their coaches have left, and so this is an opportunity to go somewhere else and get a chance to play. So that dynamic is never changing. If you can easily switch schools and get an opportunity to play where you don't think you can play right now, a lot of kids are going to take that option. And although, as Blue has pointed out many times, a lot of kids erroneously think they're going to play somewhere else when they're not going to, and they take that option and then realize that old situation, same as the new one. So they're adults; they can make that mistake. I feel like something just happened good for the Bruins based on
Bruins
DJ.
scored.
Yeah.
Did they?
I saw the fist pump. I saw the fist
you're
pump.
very on a delay, I guess.
Yeah, I'm super delayed, man.
I saw the DJ fist pump. I'm like, that's not good for any of our viewers, but good for DJ.
It's okay. I'm a Boston guy through and through. I appreciate you guys having me on, even still.
Oh my God, I see it there. Well, there it is.
I
just saw it now.
I won't ruin any big plays if anything happens for you, Jazz. I'll try to keep still and quiet.
I mean, the show's basically over, but anyway.
And before we go, we've got Show and Tell with Blue.
Wow,
Okay, guys, I'm going to take you back to the 1984 campaign with this nice cup here. It's got that Orange Bowl logo right here.
Yep. Yeah.
You got the schedule. And then you got Big Howard coming up.
There he is.
Look at that.
There we go.
Mr. Schnellenberger himself.
Good show and tell little item there.
1984.
Technology, Vish. Technology.
Okay, we're doing this then.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. There you go.
I like that. All you have to say was technology, Vish.
Yeah.
I know.
The Orangeville, January 2nd, 1984.
Pretty good one. Pretty good one.
Let me see the game.
Pretty good collectible.
I mean, it's the schedule. This is the year we won the championship. It's
yeah,
right.
It's the year we won, right?
Oh
schedule.
Well, this is the.
This is the year
is
after,
this
actually,
the?
right?
This is the year. The schedule is for the fall. This must have been after in between the 83 and 84 seasons.
Yeah, there was a flashback 83 thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Miami, Nebraska. There it is. There it is.
Very nice. Okay,
like
good
that.
show and tell item. This.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, definitely.
$2,000 for that cup, ladies and gentlemen. $2,000.
That one you can't sell. That one. That one you're gonna keep.
Yeah.
It's got Howard. It's
We
got.
can probably say that about everything that he's gonna show.
No, but I mean that's different. That's got Howard on there.
That's why
so
that's my wife is still bitching. Get rid of something.
I mean, we can bring her on the show and explain why you need every item. I'm sure.
Show and tell with the
She'll
Bluesteins. Show and tell with the Bluesteins. That's perfect.
Yeah.
We gotta come up with a little jingle. We gotta do a little jingle. We have to. That's so funny.
I get enough of you don't really want that, do you?
Oh man, you collect. Listen, you collect King's memorabilia like I collect Flanagan's cups. Okay.
I have so much signed stuff in this room right here. It's not even funny.
Oh man,
I do have a good Flanagan glass.
Oh
mug
wow,
from
a
back
glass mug.
Yeah, I do. I'll pop that out next week, whatever it is.
By the way, we're still gonna do the T-shirts for anybody that's watching the show or is gonna listen to it later. Hopefully, in the next couple of weeks, we'll have something. We got to get on it, Fish, DJ. We got to do something, man. I keep forgetting, and then when he says, "Give me the technology," I'm like, "Are you kidding me right now? What are we doing?"
I'll definitely remind you.
Yeah, man. We gotta come on.
I'm gonna make a note in my phone right now. Hold on.
I don't know if you can tell, but we don't show prep. Come on, man.
Here, this is for you, Jazz. This one here.
Uh-oh.
A Coors baseball bat.
Give me the technology. There it is. Very cool. That is cool.
Yeah, that's so cool.
It's like a little baseball
but
bat.
It's a beer can, though. It's a beer bottle, right?
Beer bottle.
Yeah,
it's Coors. Coors Light.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Very cool. Look at that. You don't get that kind of stuff at any other show. Shout out to all the other Canes contributors and Canes media people that do shows.
Next week I'll come on and say, "Hey guys, my house was robbed."
We won't tell anybody where you live, although probably half those guys know anyways, right? Oh man. Anyways, thanks for watching the show. Subscribe to the 5 Reasons Canes podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever it is that you get your podcast. Also follow us on Twitter. It's at 6 Ring Canes. And also at 5 Reasons Canes as well.
5 Reasons.
Yeah, 5
Reasons
Reasons Canes. The YouTube is 5 Reasons Canes Network.
We have way too many. We have way too much.
Follow anything with the word 5 Reasons in it, and at least like the network.
It'll lead you to us.
Yeah,
if you find the 5 Reasons stuff, you'll most likely find us. How about that?
Here, the Twitter handles for Vish and for Blue are on there.
Not me. I don't know.
Yeah, not mine either, but mine is basically my name also. So, And yours is D Gillette with whatever, some numbers. I don't know.
95, my
Yeah,
birthday.
there you go. 95. There you go. Oh,
I'm a young
95.
on the show.
That's what I'm
95
talking about,
birthday.
man. And he's way older than the.
And he
crowd
knows juice. See, he knows
Yes.
the juice.
Yeah.
95. That's not far off from the 2000s babies now. It's 5 years, man. You know,
Dude, I'm not gonna.
Cam McCormick knows.
just-
Cam McCormick knows Jimmy Juice.
Yeah. Can't probably played in this game.
Yeah, he probably did. Oh man. Anyways, make sure you keep it locked here tomorrow. We got hitting the apex, and we've got some Canes on deck. Hopefully, we'll see. Who the
Yeah.
hell knows?
We got
Buckets on Wednesday, and we'll keep you guys updated on the latest on Canes football as well. We'll see you guys next Monday. Show and tell with Blue. Let's do it.
The 6 Rig Kane Show. Yeah. The 6 Rig Kane Show. Yeah. The 6 Rings Kane Show.